joking, yeah. Islam is the one of the few political systems books contain overt curses against non-adherents. Yes, it does. Correct. So so we know that jihad's a communal obligation, right? It must be done by a small minority within the community have to always do this, or sin falls upon the entire group. He who provides the equipment for a soldier in jihad has himself performed jihad. So one who provides money, provides tools, resources, advice, information, some kind of assistance. So jihad is not just, there are 14 kinds of jihad. There are at least 14 different kinds of jihad, right? Now, the Quran does tell us those of the believers who are unhurt but sit behind are not equal to those who fight in Allah's path with their property and their lives. Quran 4:95. So if none of those concerned perform jihad, and it does not happen at all, then everyone who is aware that it is obligatory is guilty of sin. They're going to hell. Those would be a trinity, military law and obedience. Yes, Islam is it's unusual. Now, it says there are two possible states in respect to non-Muslims. The first is when they are in their own countries, in which case jihad is a communal obligation, and we know it is obligatory. See, the obligatory character of jihad. So when non-Muslims are in their own countries, it is a communal obligation, and this is what the author is speaking of when he says, jihad is a communal obligation, meaning upon the Muslims each year. Hey there, Built to Speed, how are you doing? So it is obligatory for them at least once a year to go and make jihad. That's why jihad will never stop. It is compulsory. And now it says here, non-Muslim forces entering Muslim lands is a weighty matter that cannot be ignored, but must be met with effort and struggle to repel them by every possible means. Right? So this is obviously now defensive jihad when non-Muslim forces enter. And this is relevant to the discussion about Nidal Malik Hassan, because he's talking about people that have invaded Afghanistan, invaded Iraq. Non-Muslims have entered Muslim lands and they must be repelled. And he's doing his bit. It is offensive to conduct a military expedition against hostile non-Muslims without the caliph's permission, though if there is no caliph, no permission is required. Well, there is no caliph at present, so no permission is required. So everyone can just go off and do his own thing. Sudden jihad is then a real thing. The caliph makes war upon Jews, Christians, and Zoroastrians, and if there's no caliph, then unfortunately Muslims make war upon Jews, Christians, and Zoroastrians. There are about 400,000 Zoroastrians left today. Provided he has first invited them to enter Islam in faith and practice, and if they will not, then invite them to enter the social order of Islam by paying the non-Muslim poll tax and becoming a dhimmi. Of course, the Sharia also explicitly defines that, well, okay, if you didn't invite them to enter Islam and you still attack them, that's also okay. I can get into that once we go into the Hidayah. The war continues until they become Muslim or else pay the non-Muslim poll tax in accordance with the word of Allah. Fight those who do not believe in Allah, and the caliph fights all other people until they become Muslim. I'm not seeing a lot about persuasion here. I'm seeing a lot of fighting and warfare. Okay, so let me get back to the text for the meantime. On this point of, now, there is no evidence, right? There are nearly 200 references to jihad in the most trusted collection of hadith, Sahih Bukhari, right? And this hadith about the lesser jihad compiled by al-Baghdadi does not appear in any of the hadith collections. Okay, Ibn Kathir himself, it's one of the references here, right? Ibn Kathir himself calls this fake, right? So this idea of the, good grief, I can't find the reference here for whatever, but I've had talks about this before and I've got the notes.